Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar, Social Media Basics for Small Business. So glad to have everyone here and thanks for taking the time out of your very busy days to sit and talk with me. My name is Sarah Burke and I'm going to be your presenter today. And I'm also the content marketer at Spokal. I've been doing this job for the last 9-10 months or so, and it's been an amazing job that gives me the opportunity to talk to small business owners and startups all the time and really get to know what they need, what they want, what help that they require. And one of the topics that is mentioned time and time again is social media. And the questions that I get range from beginners to intermediate to advanced. But the one thing I've really noticed is that without a really solid foundation for social media, for businesses on social media, there can't be a decent intermediate, there can't be a decent advanced process. And while I can answer all these questions individually that I get from small business owners and startups, I'm a firm believer that if one person's asking a question, there's probably about 10 other people that aren't vocalizing that question but have the same inquiry. So I thought putting together a webinar on the topic would be super useful. Here's what we're going to be talking about today. First, I'm going to look at why social media is so great for small business. And then I'm going to discuss the top 5 social media platforms that are out there, and I'm going to go into those in a little bit of detail. And then I'll run through what to share, when to share it, how often to post. And finally, I'm going to finish with some actionable tips on how to get started. So I'm not just going to leave you with a whole bunch of information. I'm going to give you the first steps on how to get your business on social media. Before we jump right in, I just want to go through a few housekeeping details. Firstly, the webinar will be recorded and you will get a replay of the webinar straight to your inbox just a few hours after the session finishes. Secondly, there will be 5 minutes for a Q&A at the end of the webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat sidebar as I go through the slides. However, I'm not going to get to those questions until the end of the webinar, just because I'm on my own, I'm hosting and presenting. So it's easier for me to just deal with the questions afterwards rather than going from my presentation to the chat sidebar. So if you are asking questions throughout the webinar, don't worry, I will get to them at the end. I'm not ignoring you. So let's just jump right in. Why is social media so great for your small business? It's a really important question because if you're not convinced that social media will benefit your business, then you're not going to spend the same amount of time and the same amount of energy that it really needs to be successful. The first reason social media is so great for small business is that everyone is on it. This isn't normally a great reason to do anything I know. Just because somebody jumps off a bridge doesn't mean that you should. But the thing is with marketing, if your audience is there and your competition is there, then you should be too. And if you're not, you're missing a huge opportunity. People are on social media to ask questions, to get information, and to start conversations. So if you're not there answering those questions, giving that information, engaging in those conversations, you can guarantee that your competition is. Because 87% of B2Bs and 86% of B2Cs are already on social media. So that's a huge percentage of businesses that are already on social media and ready to take your customers' questions and conversations and ready to give that information to them. 89% of 18 to 29-year-olds and 82% of 30 to 49-year-olds are on social media. So frequently I get told by business owners or startups that don't think social media is for them is, oh, our audience isn't really on it. Yeah, your audience is on social media. And, even after 49, there's still a huge percentage of people that are on social media. So if you don't think your business or your target audience is on social media, the chances are you're probably wrong. Maybe you're not looking at the right social media platforms. Social media also guides purchasing decisions. Consumers are 71% more likely to make a purchase based on social media referrals. And out of 53% of consumers who said that they use Twitter to recommend companies or products in their tweets, 48% actually bought that product or service, which means people aren't just going onto social media to recommend products and services that they don't believe in. They go onto social media and they go onto Twitter especially to recommend products and services that they really, really believe in because they use it themselves. 74% of consumers rely on social networks to guide purchasing decisions. And this is something that people are aware of. They know that they go on social media to help them make purchasing decisions. They will often, go onto particularly Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, and they will, look up the product or service. They'll ask about the product or service. Everybody knows that friend on Facebook that says, hey, has anyone used XYZ? Is it any good? And they will get responses. And that is relying on social networks to guide a purchasing decision. Social also encourages word of mouth. So, before the internet, all those years ago, we used to rely on our neighbors. We used to have these conversations over the backyard fence, and our neighbors would say, oh my God, I just got this new garden patio furniture and I just absolutely love it. I got it in wherever. You should check it out. There's a sale on tomorrow. All this word of mouth would happen, over the backyard fence. Today, social media is our backyard fence. This is where these conversations are happening. 81% of US online consumers' purchasing decisions are influenced by their friends' social media posts. And 43% of consumers are more likely to buy a new product when learning about it on social media. So social media is a conversation. It's social. It's a conversation. Therefore, word of mouth will happen on it. And we really need to understand that social media is a driving force in word of mouth, because word of mouth advertising and word of mouth marketing is one of the most powerful tools that we as business owners and marketers have at our disposal. And finally, the last reason social media is so great for business is that it helps with SEO. So social signals from likes, tweets, shares, etc., tell search engine bots that your content is good, and they use this information to rank that content higher. And we see every year with a Searchmetrics correlation study that this is becoming a growing trend. Social is really influencing how content is ranked in search engine ranking pages. How does social media work? So we know that social media is great for business, but why does it work? How exactly does it work? Imagine that this is your website. A customer comes in, and as always, you give them a great customer experience, and then they leave. Nowadays, people like to keep in touch with that business through social media. And this gives the business another opportunity to engage with that customer and giving them an even better customer experience, another great experience, wowing them with more information, with more content, keeping themselves top of that customer's mind. And that means the customer is likely to return to that website. But social engagement also has a secondary function. It drives social visibility, which means that more people can see you. So as that initial customer is liking and retweeting and sharing your content and talking about your business, that means their social circles are seeing that content and seeing your business. And the more social visibility you have, the more new prospects you have. And the more new prospects you have, the more new customers you have. So as you can see, the engagement that you have on social media not only helps you retain customers like it does in the first circle, but it also generates new ones like it does in the second circle. So which social media platform is best for your business? You can't be on them all. There's a lot out there, and I don't really have enough time to go through them all either. So I'm just going to focus on discussing the top 5 here, which are Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, and Facebook. So let's start with Facebook, which is the most popular social network out there. Everyone is on it. Well, nearly 1.4 billion people are on it actively every month. That's a lot of people. And they go on Facebook to look for text posts, images, videos, memes, anything interesting, anything entertaining, anything educational. And that's what makes Facebook amazing for textual content, visual content, sharing videos, sharing memes, sharing data, sharing statistics. It all works quite well on Facebook. B2Bs, B2Cs, non-profits, everyone can market quite successfully on Facebook. There is a low barrier to entry with this. The second most popular platform is Twitter. It has a lot of users with 650 million people on it. On average, they're a little younger, being 15 to 25-year-old, but they tend to earn a little higher, with $75,000 a year. People go on Twitter to learn about updates and trends and news. It's a very, very fast-moving platform. This is where you'll hear the newest and most up-to-date information. Because of that, it's really good for sharing news, but it's also amazing for sharing original and curated content. Like Facebook, B2Bs, B2Cs, and nonprofits are all quite active on the platform and can successfully market there. LinkedIn, however, is a little bit more specific. It's a business-oriented social media platform, and it has 300 million people on it, but they only use the platform for 4 hours or less a week. So it's not something people spend a lot of idle time on. It's a very business-oriented platform, like I said, and people are on it very purposefully. People go onto LinkedIn to learn about industry news, tips, advice, business-related content, and it's best for thought leadership. And this means it's best for reading content related to thought leadership or to become a thought leader yourself. Mostly B2Bs market on LinkedIn. Like I said, it's a business-oriented platform, so B2Cs haven't really seen much success on it. Google Plus has an audience of 550 million active monthly users. They're mostly men and they're mostly professionals. They go on Google Plus to look for news, links, content, blog posts, videos, and it's best for increasing your expertise and searchability. Google Plus has these amazing Google Plus communities that you can join where you will find a very targeted audience. So for example, if you're a realtor in the Toronto area, you can follow a Google Plus community on realtors in Toronto or real estate in Toronto. And then you know that everybody that is in that group, everybody that is in that community will be interested in any content that you share there. And it's also a great place to find interesting content. Google Plus also increases your searchability because the more likes, shares, likes and shares and plus ones that you get on Google Plus, the higher you rank on Google's search engine result pages. It's used mostly by B2Bs and B2Cs, but nonprofits also successfully market themselves there. Pinterest is another niche social media platform with 80% of its 70 million users being female. Pinterest is all about visuals, so photos of products and infographics work really, really well. It's mostly used by B2Cs, and it gets more referral traffic than Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit, and Google Plus combined. So it's very, very consumer-facing. Of course, there are tons of social media platforms out there. I've just kind of gone through the top 5. There's also Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Reddit, Tumblr, Sue. There's always an increasing number of social media platforms available. And sometimes these alternative social media platforms can actually work better for businesses than more popular sites. So it doesn't do any harm to do some research and try these platforms out for personal use if you think that they might better suit your business. So thinking outside of the social media box does absolutely no harm. Like I said, if you're not active on these social media platforms for personal use, it's definitely an idea to do that before you go ahead and make a business account. But what do you actually say on these platforms? Of course, it all depends on your business. And there isn't a clear set of rules that you have to follow to see success. But that's not really helpful for you right now. So just to give you a starting point, the 5-3-2 rule is often used as a template for good social sharing etiquette. And all this rule means is that for every 10 pieces of content you share, 5 should be curated, 3 should be your own, and 2 should be other personal or entertaining. Again, this is just a template, so play around with it, test it, and see what ratios work best for you. There is no hard and fast rule for this. So curated content is content that you find from another source in your industry that you think is interesting and that you think your audience will find interesting. And a good portion of your content that you share on social media should be curated. I like to think of social media as a conversation. And a conversation shouldn't be all about you. That's the sign of a really, really bad conversationalist. They just talk about themselves all the time. So curated content is an opportunity for you to be a good conversationalist or a good social media sharer. So you simply find content from other sources, such as emails, newsletters, social media. There are also certain curation sites like Scoop.it, StumbleUpon, BuzzSumo. Medium is becoming more and more popular nowadays, and you can find some really, really amazing content on Medium. Also, when you're sharing curated content, don't forget to tag or mention the person who's responsible for that content in your social post, because that builds relationships, and that's really, really important. 30% of your content should be your own content. But when I say that, I don't want you to be salesy. So you're not doing a hard sell. You can, as much as you possibly can, try not to hard sell on social media. People generally aren't on social media to be sold to. That really depends on which social media platform you're talking about, obviously, but generally they're not there to be sold to, and people nowadays tend not to respond well to hard selling. So the best way not to hard sell is to just offer up content that is actually useful, that is actually valuable, and then personalize it. So don't just do the headline plus link as much as possible. I know that especially with social media automation, which we'll talk about later, this can sometimes not always happen, but as much as possible, personalize it. So, you know, just add some hashtags. If you have something to say about what you're sharing, add that. And also add visuals where and when possible, because this actually increases engagement. Even on sites that don't really highlight photos that well, visuals still increase engagement. And finally, 20% of your content should be personal or entertaining. So that's thoughts on life, quotes, satirical cartoons, jokes, statistics, data, anything kind of off topic that's a bit more lighthearted. A lot of times, especially if you decide to go with Twitter for your business, but the same applies for any social media platform, you'll see trending hashtags or trending topics. And sometimes these can be really fun and lighthearted, and you can actually engage with them in an off-topic, personal, entertaining kind of way. It's a great opportunity to make your business seem like a human. So make sure people know that there's a human behind your social media accounts. So for example, this happened with the Vince Vaughn stock photos. And you know, marketers and businesses always use stock photos. So I just thought it was funny, and I thought I would share it with our audience. And it went down really, really well. So yeah, 20% of your content should just be off-topic, personal, or entertaining. Don't always try to be selling. Don't always be talking about business. Again, think about this like a conversation. You don't sit at a dinner table and just talk about business all night. You make jokes and you talk about life, and you know, go a little bit off topic, and you don't always have to talk about work. So now you know what to post. Let's talk about when to post it. Again, this varies from business to business, and you have to test it to really, really figure out what works best for you. This is just a guide in order to help you get started. So for Facebook, it's advisable to post about 3 times a week. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, especially if you use Facebook for personal use, but you have to remember that Facebook is where people go to talk to friends and family and to look at content that's a little bit easier on the brain. And, you know, they're not really looking to go to Facebook to be marketed to. 70% of teens are friends with their parents on Facebook. So it's definitely somewhere where the social connection of their real lives are happening. So they don't really want to be marketed to there. Twitter is really, really fast. You can post anywhere from 18 minutes to 2 hours on Twitter without annoying anyone. In fact, you have to post quite often onto Twitter for your content to be seen. Pinterest, you can pin as many photos as you like on Pinterest. Google Plus, 1 to 2 times per day, but there aren't a whole lot of studies on this. I got this number from a few of the Google Plus superstars who were saying that 1 to 2 times a day seems to be a happy number. And LinkedIn themselves suggest 20 posts a month. And if you do the math, that works out to 5 times a week, which works out to 1 post per weekday. But obviously 20 posts a month gives you a little bit of leniency on when you want to post that. And LinkedIn says that 20 posts a month will give you 60% of your audience. I mean, 60% of your audience will see your posts if you post 20 times a month. So giving you a lot of information, how do you get started? Obviously, you're not going to be active on all 5 platforms straight away. So I'd suggest just choosing one. But each platform has its own pro and con. So which one do you choose? You're probably inclining to one already at the moment, but just to help you out with that, I've created a bit of a pros and cons list. So with Facebook, there's a lot of people and everyone loves to share content on it. And because most people are on Facebook and there's this ease of communication that works great for customer service. But it's quite noisy, so it can be hard to be heard through everything else. And it doesn't help that there's a low organic reach. So unless you're paying for ads and unless your followers are really, really engaging with your content, so much so that you're popping up on their timelines all the time, not a lot of your followers will see your posts. Twitter, on the other hand, is noisy, but that's why brands and people love it. Tweets are really, really easy and quick because they're only 140 words, and it's really, really great for marketing. 49% of people prefer to hear from businesses on Twitter, so people expect to be marketed there. In terms of cons, Twitter is really fast moving. Like I said, you have to post a lot in order for your content to be seen. Otherwise, it's just going to be pushed down and nobody will see it. It isn't great for image-based content. Of course, when you share an image on Twitter, it does get better engagement, but it doesn't really highlight the product or graphic that well. Google Plus is amazing to talk to a super targeted audience. Like I said, the G Plus communities are amazing. You just join a specific one in your industry and you can share content there and be guaranteed that everyone is interested. So rather than just screaming out to an audience of 10,000 people and hopefully like 10% of them will listen, you're screaming out to an audience of 100 people and 100 of them are listening. Google Plus engagement can have a positive effect in your SEO, so that's definitely a good thing. The cons are that it's still quiet, and there's always so much speculation going on about, G Plus dying, G Plus is fading out, et cetera, et cetera. So you can't really guarantee that. You don't have that kind of guarantee that it will be around for long that you do maybe with Facebook or Twitter. It's a kind of love-hate with Google Plus, I find. So again, you don't really know where you stand with it because you're not sure if people are just talking about Google Plus dying because they don't like it, or if this is a genuine concern. LinkedIn has a really large organic reach. You put content up there and the chances are people will see it. This establishes credibility with connections, especially if you're a B2B business. Your credibility is really, really important. So for B2Bs, LinkedIn and establishing yourself on LinkedIn is a really good idea. On the negative side of things, it's a small niche and it can be slow to set up and get going. So you don't see a lot of results from the get-go. So you have to be a little bit stubborn. Pinterest, like I said, gets more referral traffic than Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit, and Google Plus combined because it's really, really consumer focused. Another positive is that your pins stay active for a long period of time. So even when you're adding new stuff, your old content remains just as useful. So people search on Pinterest by keyword and content still appears that is related to that keyword, no matter how old it is. So as you can see, there are a lot of pros, and then the negatives are that it is a small niche. So if your target audience isn't female, it might not be for you, and B2Bs aren't really on it yet. It's also more effective for businesses that have actual products. So, have actual products and can take high quality photos of their products. So there are a lot of pros and cons here for every social media platform. Like I said, I would suggest just choosing one of them based off of how much time you have, what content you have, what kind of industry you're in, and just getting started with that and doing that one really well before you move on to others. So to get started, you have to create a business page. And all the 5 platforms I named today have separate business pages. That is, except for Twitter. Twitter doesn't have a business page. You just set up a Twitter handle. After you set that up, it's really important that you spend some time filling in your profiles as thoroughly as you can. And I can't emphasize this enough. Thoroughly filled in social media profile is the professional thing to do. You really have to gain trust in online customers and online marketing nowadays. You need to be as transparent as you possibly can, and filling in your social media profiles as thoroughly as possible really adds to this. So contact details. If you have a phone number that people can contact you by, please insert it there. An email address, same thing goes. And of course, your website. Your website details should be in your contact details, or you can put it in your About Me section. Your About Me section is a great opportunity for people to get to know what your business is all about. So definitely fill that in as thoroughly as you can. Profile photos and cover photos are really important to give off the image of professionalism and, well, basically not to seem lazy. The amount of times I've stumbled across a business page and thought, oh, I really like their content, and I've checked them out on social media, and there is no cover photo, and I'm just thinking, you can't really bother to put a cover photo up. Will you really bother to, help me out with this as thoroughly as possible? And after you've done that, add your social media links to your website or your email. So when people are visiting your website or receiving emails from you, they can easily keep in contact with you via their favorite social media network. So once your business page is all set up and you have your links in your website and your email, you're ready to start posting. The easiest and most manageable way to do this is in batches. And by that, I mean scheduling all of your social sharing for the day in one go. This way, you'll be consistently sharing content without having to take the time out of every single day to do so. So on weekends, or if you're on holidays, or if you're just busy in meetings, you are still sharing content on a regular basis. Consistency is really key for social sharing. So it's important that you find a social media automation tool that will help you be consistent. And that's in a consistent voice and consistent amount of sharing. So first of all, you choose which social media platform you want to go on, or you want to be active on first, and you figure out how many times you'll have to post a week. Once you figure that out, you choose one of your social media automation tools. These are some of my suggestions. So Buffer, Spokal, IFTTT, Social Oomph, and Hootsuite are all amazing social media automation tools. Sign up for an account with that, link it with your social media, your chosen social media platform, and once a day or once a week, go on at a certain time and share content for your day or for your week. Which content or which social media automation tool you choose is really down to yourself and to your business and what works best for you. It's just about personal preference, really. So we've reached the end of our webinar today. Here are the 4 key takeaways, no, not the pizza kind, that I want you to leave with. Firstly, do your research and choose just one platform to get started. Fill out your profile as thoroughly as you can. Use the 5-3-2 rule and the timing guide as a template to get started, but test it and see what works best for you. And create a posting schedule and find a social media automation tool that works best for you to share your content throughout the day or throughout the week. Thank you so much for watching. Now I'm going to open up the floor to questions. So I've had a few in the chat box as I've been going through, but if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them now and I'll get to them in a second. So a few people have asked, how do you get new followers? And I get this question nearly every time I do this webinar, so I'm going to start with that one. To get new followers, there are 3 things that I suggest you do, especially when you're just starting out. Firstly, follow people in your industry. Find people in your industry by searching your keywords. So, if you're in, I'll use the real estate example again. If you're in real estate again, search the keyword real estate and find people in your industry that are talking about real estate and follow them. Like what they're sharing, favorite what they're sharing, retweet what they're sharing. When you're starting out, try to reduce as much of your own content that you're sharing as possible. Just share other great content that you're finding. And thirdly, join in conversations. So actually retweet, talk to people who are tweeting or sharing on Facebook. You know, have conversations with people. If you choose Twitter, join some Twitter chats. If you choose Google Plus, join some communities and have conversations with people there. You know, they have the Hangouts as well, where you actually can have video conversations with people. If you choose LinkedIn, there's amazing LinkedIn groups. Pinterest, you know, comment on people's pins and talk to people. So that's my three suggestions. Follow a whole bunch of people, join in the conversation, and try share as little of your own content at first as you possibly can. So just really focus on, you know, being on Twitter and having conversations. If you have amazing content already set up and ready to go, that might not apply to you as much. But yeah, just share amazing content, join the conversation, and follow people in your industry. So which social media platform would I most recommend for marketing? You know, it's really down to what business you're in. If you want some advice, I would suggest maybe send me over a quick email and tell me exactly what your business industry is, if you're not comfortable telling me here. For Spokel, for example, we use Twitter, and that's really successful for us. And we don't really get that much success from Facebook, for example. Google Plus has been quite successful for us, though. So really, really down to the specific business. So you can either tell me in the chat what your specific business is, and I can give you a little bit more guidance, or you can send me an email at sarah@getspokel.com, and I'll help you out with that. How much time do you spend on social media a day? It varies day to day. Sometimes I can go on or just our Twitter account in the morning, and we have like hundreds of notifications, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll be on this for a while. And I like to, you know, make the effort to engage with people who have shared our content or who have commented on our content, and I like to make the effort to have conversations. You know, just yesterday, someone like tweeted us just saying thank you for sharing some content. That's why it's important to mention people in your content when you're curating content. And, you know, they were saying, you know, go Canucks go, because we're from Vancouver. So I just responded being like, yeah, it's great. We just won a match, et cetera, et cetera. And then they started a conversation with me, and they were sharing a blog that they were following with the Canucks. And, you know, just talking about themselves and how they grew up in Vancouver. And, you know, I just started this amazing conversation with this person because I made the effort to join the conversation. So social media is all about conversations, and you can't really put a time limit on conversations. It's a very organic thing, but that doesn't help. I hate when I say that. It's very organic. I don't want to give you a rule, but it really doesn't help you if I say that. So I usually spend 30 minutes sharing content a day on our Twitter channel. And I spend about 15 minutes in the morning, you know, engaging with what people have been saying, what people have been sharing, and then I spend 15 minutes in the evening before I sign off for the day doing the same thing. So in total, about an hour. If there is a Twitter chat on, I love Buffer Chat and SEM Rush Chat. I think they're amazing chats, and they're on once a week. I usually miss the SEM Rush Chat because it's a little bit early for me, but they last an hour. So if I'm doing a Twitter chat, an hour a week, maybe 2 hours a week if I'm doing two. Yeah, so an hour to 2 hours on Twitter chat days. How do you make a good cover photo for your social media channels? Oh, okay. I haven't gotten this question on this webinar yet. I like to use Canva. So the cover photos that we have now are a little bit not great. They were there before I started, and I haven't really got around to doing this yet. So, but I do want to change them, and I've been working on a few designs. Canva is amazing. If you're not a graphic designer, which I'm not, but you know, Chris, the CEO, spoke was always like, "Oh, but you're so artistically inclined." It's not even that. It's just that Canva is amazing. It really, really guides you through it. There is a design school on Canva that helps you figure out how to, you know, implement different aspects of design so that it looks good. And there's also a design stream that shows you what other people have created. So that gives you even more ideas. And it's kind of like, well, if they created it, I can create it. So yeah, I would really suggest Canva. They actually have pre-made templates as well. Like, so they have like the dimensions of, say, a Twitter cover photo, or yeah, a Twitter cover photo all ready and set up for you, so that you don't have to worry about if you're making it the right size. It's already made that size. And then you just, you know, create it yourself. So yeah, I would really suggest Canva. If you're good at Photoshop, work away. If you have an image maybe of your business, feel free to just take a photo of that, a high quality photo of that, and use that as a cover photo. But yeah, if you're just creating a graphic, I would definitely recommend using Canva. And if you're looking for like an image, so if you've noticed throughout this presentation, I've used tons of images, and you'll be able to see the little image attribution on this screen ahead of you. It's from Freepik. They have a lot of really, really nice vectors that you can use that are just really colorful and friendly, and just can be quite generic as well. So you can kind of incorporate them into designs. So yeah. Okay, so if you have any other questions, please feel free to send me an email at sarah@getsvocal.com, and I will try to get back to you ASAP. So until we meet again, and I hope we do meet again, and I hope that you follow us at getsvocal.com or @getsvocal on Twitter. Have a wonderful day, and I wish you the best of luck with your social media marketing. Bye.